So, guest today on the Nautnik podcast is my brother, Fahjah, or Cass. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
I think you're supposed to be my second or third guest, but obviously timing didn't line up, so now you are my 10th guest.
Oh, wow, 10 already.
Yeah. Had to come to Thailand to do the podcast. So that's what you see in the background now is the view from the 30th floor of Fahjah's condo in Thailand. So maybe that's a good place to start.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you move to Thailand?
There's a few reasons. So the first one was I always wanted to move here. I think probably since we were young and talking about coming here from Muay Thai.
Yeah.
But then also I was living in Bali and I came here to play a show. My friend that lives here was like, when are you going to move to Thailand? And I was like, I don't know, maybe if you find me a residency. And then he actually found me one. I didn't think he was going to.
Which friend was that?
This is Jum Zilix.
Okay.
I didn't think he was actually, I thought he was just kidding, but he was actually serious. So
yeah.
I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm moving. And also I wanted to leave Bali at the time too. So just kind of aligned. So I was like, all right, let's give it a shot.
So he basically called your bluff.
Yes.
Although it wasn't as much of a bluff because you're low key trying to find a way out of Bali.
Yeah, I kind of wanted a way out, so it worked out. But I thought it was a bluff because like people will promise you stuff all the time in the industry.
Yeah, it's very rare that somebody.
Yeah, and then he actually delivered on it. It's just like, oh shit.
Why did you want to make your way out of Bali?
I was getting just kind of over it. Like, to be honest, I think it was just because every time you move to a city, there's a certain point where you get like sick of it.
Yeah,
and this was my first time moving to another city, so I hit that point, and so. I think maybe if I stayed longer, I would have figured it out. But I did ultimately want to move because it's not a place where you feel you can live like a long time. Like it's a vacation place ultimately. But also just the job that I was doing there, the residency I had, I don't know. I just think the payment could have been better. And also the hours I was working and stuff, it was just, I don't know, all of it just kind of came crashing down a little bit where I was like, this is too much. I need to find something better.
Okay.
I was staying up super, super late, inhaling tons of cigarette smoke because it's an Indonesian club.
Yeah.
There was just no reason for me to stay.
So let's go back to the beginning. Why did you start making music in the first place?
Okay. Well, it depends how far back we go, because I know when I was 3 or 4, I said I wanted to be in a band.
Yeah.
And obviously over time, being in a band is not really feasible. So electronic music became the thing. And then actually kind of because of you, because you started producing. I didn't actually know how DJs made their music until you started producing. I was like, oh. And then my school had like a technical musical production class where you literally just screw around in GarageBand, like nothing. So I started doing that, like messing with MIDI.
Yeah.
And then eventually, I remember I asked for FL Studio for Christmas.
Yeah.
And then that's just kind of where it started snowballing.
At what point did you decide you wanted to pursue music as a career?
Probably from day one of getting FL Studio.
Day one of getting FL Studio. So
how old were you? I think I was like 16 or something. I was 16 going on 17. Like it was like 2 weeks before my birthday going on 17, I think.
What made it like that obvious?
I was just obsessed with music. Like I always wanted to make music. And also I remember like even when I was young, I also, this was something I was talking to Mom about recently that I actually forgot about this, but when I was 3 or 4, I said I wanted to be a Backstreet Boy.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, like I wanted to be like a rock star, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's just always been in me that I want to perform and make music. It's always just attracted me. So forever, yeah.
Almost a Backstreet Boy.
You know, it was funny actually. When I was talking to Mom about that, we were talking about the Backstreet Boy album Millennium that we had, and I was looking at it online. I was like, oh shit! If you go look at it, the cover art is like exactly my aesthetic that I do on my Instagram now. And
I can kind of see that.
This is not intentional, but I actually dress like them now because I wear all white all the time. Also shirt, white pants, and that's
They definitely had an era where they were wearing shirts like that.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit! I like that was completely unintentional. I started laughing so hard though.
So you manifested when you were 3.
Yeah, I've almost become a Backstreet Boy.
You just have to start dancing now,
Like, yeah, maybe, yeah.
dancing and singing more. So,
Yeah.
what's the general inspiration for your music? What's the process when you want it? Like, okay, I'm gonna make a song. Does the inspiration come first? Do you decide to make a song first?
Both. Like a lot of times, actually, I just like keep screwing around and then something sticks. But sometimes I go in with like a feeling. I think like I actually know like the day before when something's gonna stick. I can feel like, oh, I have
Like before you even start the track, or
yes,
before?
like
Okay.
the night before, I can feel, oh, there's something like brewing up in me,
Yeah,
and I know that okay, when I sit down, like something's gonna come out.
yeah.
And I mean, inspiration can come from anywhere. Music.
So do you hear it in your head then? Do you already like hear in your head essentially what you're trying to make something along the lines of?
No, I won't hear it. I'll have like a feeling, like I could feel it inside me. There's like a creative thing that needs to come out.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll to be honest, it's not very often where a melody just pops into my head. That has happened. That
Yeah.
for sure happens where I hear a melody and then I go to my computer. But honestly, usually it's like I can feel this creative urge and I can feel myself feel a bit more open. If I go in the studio and I feel like closed up, nothing's gonna happen. But when I feel in like a very flowy state,
Yeah.
then it happens and I know it's coming.
So do you have a specific way to kind of like prime that state? Like what's the process if you want to, you need to make music and you know that you need to get into that state?
Yeah.
What do you do?
I guess it's just the routine that I have really. I do the same routine every single day, and that allows me to have like a structure where creativity can flow in. So that's pretty much just like waking up at a decent time, sleeping good, going to Cum Cafe, and yeah. Well, I guess probably people don't know what the cafe I go to is called Cum Cafe.
Okay. It's spelled CUM.
Yes. Yeah. I go there, drink my espresso, and just like start working. Just I don't know, just having structure.
So do you specifically kind of have like time blocked off to allow that creative energy to come to flow out?
Yes, 100%. Like it's usually the early afternoon, and then I also have a bit of the evening.
Yeah.
But I mean, actually, just recently, like right before you came here, like 2 weeks ago, I was literally just got hit with inspiration at like 3 a.m. or something, and then I ended up going to bed so late because of it. So sometimes random bursts.
So it could be like right before you go to bed and then you have to get it out.
And it's annoying because I'm like, oh, I have to go to sleep.
Do you ever
like,
wake up and have to do it like in the middle of the night?
Middle of the night. Sometimes I might be like in my bed and I'm like, wait, like I'm about to go to sleep, and I'm like, wait, I need to go try something. But
Yeah.
I've been trying to keep good with my sleep schedule. So
There's an author that I was listening to talk about how he writes, and it sounded horrible because he pretty much said no matter what happens, if at any time he has something that he has to put out, then he'll put it out. So it could be he's at a family gathering and then he runs away for an hour. Or it could be that he wakes up at 3 a.m. and then he gets on his computer for 2 hours. Or it could be
I know exactly that. Like that happens to me. It's hard to have a girlfriend because if they don't understand it, because like you'll want to run away from a conversation or get off the phone. So like, oh wait, this just hit me. Like I 100% understand that.
Yeah, and it's like, but then it's like, but yeah, because you know that that's the best time. So you like waiting for that time where they can actually make the best art. And then
I've been seeing videos of Michael Jackson talking about this a lot, where he says like he would immediately go to the studio if an idea hit him and start like he has to record right away because he believed that if he didn't do it, he loses the inspiration, and then it's going to come to someone else.
That's kind of like what Rick Rubin talks about. It's like there's like that kind of like creative energy that's there, and if you don't harness it, then it like goes to somebody else to kind of harness it.
Yeah.
I'm sure you probably worked with Michael Jackson at some point.
Michael Jackson believed that if he didn't do it, Prince was going to do it.
That's pretty funny.
He had to do it.
So if you don't do it, who's going to do it? Who's your Prince?
I can think of a few, but I won't name names. I won't name names.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you know when a track is like good enough to put it out? Because I think most creative people have the our artists in general have the problem where there might be a perfectionist on some level, and they always see the flaws afterwards. So how do you know that it's good enough that you're going to accept whatever flaws are there?
You know, I feel like torn on this because like I am perfectionist to some point, but also I'm very much about just finishing ideas
Yeah.
fast and then like focus. I kind of like people look at songs as like here's one, two, three, four, like, but I look at making music as a succession of music, and that like sometimes you have to make that one song to get to the next one, which is going to be really good.
Yeah.
So I try not to get hung up on one single piece.
Because then you're kind of like stuck in a certain
Yeah.
lane, I guess.
Like I have friends like this where they spend hours and hours and hours and hours on one song, and then you beat it to death, and then you just like you missed all this potential creative output from that could have come had you just moved on. So I do try to make it as good as I can, but I'm never like I need to make this perfect, because at a certain point, the idea and the actual inspiration behind it is just it's lost. You really have to try to focus on like what's coming after the bigger picture.
Do you think there's a point where the song just gets worse if you keep working on it?
100%.
Yeah.
Honestly, most of the time, most of the time, once you cross a certain threshold, you're making it way worse. And usually, the best songs that you'll ever do, and every artist can attest to this, is like the ones that you did in like 4 hours,
Yeah.
not the ones you did in
Where you just spit it out.
yeah. But to get to that track, you have to have done a bunch of other tracks. So just focus on making as much as you can and still holding it to a certain standard, but don't get caught up on it.
I think that it was either Jimmy Iovine or Rick Rubin that I was listening to that said that literally like all the best songs ever have like a clear flaw in it. Like you can hear it in the studio where like they literally screwed up recording it.
Yeah.
And like they played a couple songs on the podcast I listened to where like you can literally hear the guy in the background be like fuck.
Yeah.
But it's like they gotta like kind of drown it out in the back, or they just keep
Yeah.
playing. But it was like the best take, and like that where there's like some sort of flaw that actually comes out. So maybe there's like something to say that like people actually want you to
Yeah.
spit it out because they just want like the authentic track that was in the brain. And then
Yeah.
where you try to perfect it or overproduce it,
Yeah.
you kind of just screw it up or take away the art in it.
Yeah, 100%. I think people connect more with just like the raw creative energy of something rather than like how much you thought it out, I guess. Yeah.
How did you pick which genre to go into? Because you've switched genres a couple times.
Yeah.
And you also have an alternate alias.
Yeah.
It's not as active anymore. But
Yeah.
so how do you pick which genre you actually want to stick to?
This is like actually a thing that took me that I feel like I actually didn't even figure out fully until the like last 6 months, 8 months. Um, but basically it came down to going back to my roots, or like figuring out what it is that got me into all of this. And I realized, oh, the reason I like fell in love with dance music and electronic music was because of mom, because
Yeah.
she would show us like
MC Mario.
MC Mario, Alice DJ, Robert Miles,
Yeah.
um,
Fucking Darude might have been it.
Darude. I saw the CD she plays. There's even Rank One, like old trance, like
Yeah.
yeah, stuff like that.
I didn't know that actually.
And Venga Boys and all that Euro stuff. So I was like, oh shit, like this is like actually what got me into it. This is why I love fast bouncy music. This is why I
Yeah.
love like
Melodies. Yeah.
So I was like, let me go back to doing what that was, because that's the stuff that speaks the most to me. I've tried so many different genres, and it was funny because I don't know why. I feel like the largest chunk of my career, I actually didn't know why I got into electronic music. I didn't ever think about it.
Yeah.
But once I started to reflect more on like what actually
Why
got
did
me
you think
into it,
about it? Like what triggered you to decide to think about why you got into the first place?
I think it was during COVID, when probably a little bit around the time when Uncle Dave died,
Yeah.
because I remember I was playing on my computer all the time,
Yeah.
and then I started trying to lift myself up with just like music that would make me happy, and that had this Eurodance playlist of all these old Eurodance songs on
Yeah.
Spotify, and I started listening to them, and I was like, oh man, I'm like, these are songs I used to listen to when I was young.
Yeah.
And so I dove into that a little bit. But it took me a little while to piece together that like, oh no, this is like what mom got us into.
Yeah.
And like, oh, she actually played us all these other artists. And that's why I love like DJ Sammy Heaven.
Basically
That's why-
nostalgia for you.
yeah. Nostalgia 100%. So I realized too that over the last few months, I've been trying to home in on like, okay, what's the purpose I'm actually trying to serve with my music?
Yeah.
For the longest while, I just wrote off. That's why I had Fa, was that I felt like making electronic music was just for partying,
Yeah.
and that I was doing something superficial. But that Fa was like, oh, I'm making music for like your soul.
Yeah.
But what I didn't realize over the last 2 months was that I actually know like the electronic music that I got into and that mom would play actually did serve a big purpose. Like
Yeah.
she would play all that music to dance in the living room and make herself feel happy when she was like going through hard times.
Yeah.
And that served that function for me as well. So I was like, actually, there is a bigger purpose to making this fun, trancy Eurodance stuff.
Yeah.
And so realizing all these things and realizing why I fell in love with it solidified what it is that I need to make.
So that's kind of like a long journey to go from genre to genre. And it's not like the music that you're making out of the genre is low quality, but it would be the genre now speaks more to you. So why did you switch to the other genres in the first place?
I think I just like, I like the idea of just trying stuff and like learning. But also for a while, I remember I always thought I want to be the best producer.
Yeah.
And that in my mind, the best producer was Matt Zoe, and
Okay.
he did everything. So I was like, oh, if I could do everything, I'm the best producer.
He's also never the best at everything.
No, he wasn't. Yeah.
I mean, he's good. Sorry, I love all his music, but he was never like the
Yeah.
best at a single genre.
I think
And also, I always felt he was underappreciated because of
100%.
because he swapped genres so much. He never really.
he didn't. Yeah, he didn't necessarily get like an identity.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that hurt me, because I never got an identity for years because I kept trying to do all these
I
different.
felt like you started to get an identity at one point in trance, kind of.
Yes.
But then you realize how like twisted the trance industry.
Yeah.
Not twisted, but like
It was
monopolistic, maybe.
monopoly. Yeah. I didn't want to get caught in that, but
Yeah.
it was actually good that I left, because that's when I started making like the 150 psytrance and
Yeah.
speed house stuff.
Yeah.
And through that, that's when I realized, oh wait, I love Eurodance. I love fast, bouncy stuff, because that's
Yeah.
when I started making that. And so getting the Eurodance and then going back to my old trance roots allowed me to combine it into what like I'm doing now.
Did it also kind of like just make you a better producer just by being able to go to you can make
for
better
sure.
music now than if
Yeah.
so you can make better trance now because you switch through genres?
Oh yeah, I think that like I'm able to make like almost anything because of it.
Yeah.
I'm not. The one genre I probably can't produce is like dubstep. Like, I just don't have the. I don't have the know-how for it,
Yeah.
and the sound design level. But like trance, hard style, hard dance, side track, like I know how to make all that stuff, and it's allowed me to be able to fuse everything and create kind of my own sound now.
I feel like part of the issue that a lot of artists face as well in any kind of art is that they tend to start making what they think people want instead of what they want.
Yeah.
Is that part of why you did switch genres at all?
Yeah, I definitely think I started trying to do other stuff as well, because I remember when I was making trance, I remember seeing House of Panda, like he was able to play his stuff in the clubs at like 441.
Yeah.
And I thought that was like cool. But I remember thinking, man, I can't play my trance stuff any clubs here. You probably can't play any clubs. I'm like, maybe a festival, but I'm like, oh, but maybe it's just car music. I didn't know.
Yeah.
And that kind of bothered me. And so I wanted stuff that I could actually play for people. And I wanted to be able to actually like have shows where I play and have other DJs play it. So that influenced me for sure.
I guess with trance is especially hard to go from like 0 to 1 because there's like a level 10, which would be like Armani's playing festivals and you can actually play clubs or whatever.
Yeah.
He plays IBs and all this random stuff. But then in between, especially if you're in North America, there's just no way to like actually build up to get to that level.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult to get like, well, I think the trance world now has changed a lot.
It's becoming a little bit more mainstream. I feel like trance is
Yeah.
also becoming a little bit more approachable, but
Yeah, it's becoming, there's a lot of different lanes of it now, and everyone's kind of playing it. So it's very different than like, what was that? Was that like 8 years ago? I think when I first signed like my track to Armada. So back then it was very much in like this one specific lane where you're just in ASOT or you're not kind of thing.
yeah, that was how it was. But I feel like a lot of genres are now like almost like an introduction to trance.
Yeah.
Like if you go into certain like house styles, then you have like those chords, then you have like
Yeah.
vocals like that, and then you're like, okay, what's the next level up? And then you kind of like end up in
Yeah.
trance.
Well, like Armin said in this like one video that I did that content piece about where like melodic techno is actually just trance.
Yeah. But even
Yeah.
if you listen to like a lot of John Summit stuff,
Yeah, it's pretty.
it's like if
Yeah.
you sped it up a bit and changed it slightly, you line up in the
Yeah.
trance out of nowhere.
Yeah,
I
100%.
guess that's why Armin was playing stuff with John Summit.
The breakdowns for Shiver and stuff sound like
Yeah,
they sound like trance.
which is probably why it worked for him, is because it's hard to combine like the feels with
yeah,
more mainstream stuff.
100%. And that's kind of what I want to do with my music as well. I just
So
want
what are you going to combine? Sorry, with your music,
I'm trying to combine like trancey feels with like clubby techno music.
and why is that?
Um, Basically, I want I want music that I can play in my sets, but that is still very melodic and has some like emotion behind it. Um, because one thing I realized too is that I really want to be able to actually like have a story behind each song that I make.
Yeah,
It's not just like, oh, I threw this thing together, it's cool. So I've been using more life inspiration to like write lyrics and stuff, and then actually make a story out of it. But because I've been DJing so long now, I know how to structure the tracks where I can actually play them live.
okay, so you're making it so that you can play it into a set.
Yeah, like that's actually a thing that I was missing 8 years ago, is that I just didn't have the DJ experience to know like what would make this playable in a club. But now I have that.
Also, how do you decide which crowd you're making it for? Because it feels like DJing. I mean, we saw it here. DJing at a club in Malaysia is different than DJing at a club in Thailand, and it's different than DJing in a club in way different than DJing in a club in Canada. I mean, and even in Canada, you could go to Montreal, Toronto,
Yeah.
Winnipeg, and it's three different completely
Yeah.
crowds.
I think I've been able to fuse everything together pretty well. So, I mean, like in Asia, as long as it's like fast and bouncy, you can generally get away with it.
Yeah.
And then in North America, as long as it doesn't sound like super cheesy, you can get away with it.
As long as it doesn't sound super cheesy.
Yeah.
So, like, what would you refer to as super cheesy? Like, is that like the K bounce kind of stuff? Or
Yeah, like K bounce, like it's bouncy and easy to understand. So, like, it works great here. But it sounds so cheesy that if you play it back home, people are going to be like,
how do you define cheesy in this?
it's like poor sound design and just like really basic melodies. And
Why do you think that works? Is it because, like, what? Yeah, why do you think that works here?
I think it kind of, well, it's kind of starting to work less now, but I think there's a certain rhythm to it, to the bounce, that like connects with like old music that was popular here.
Okay.
But
Well, what do you mean old? Like what? Era?
okay, okay, actually, I was looking into this. So 90s, 2000s pop in Hong Kong
Yeah.
and China was pretty much taking inspiration from old Europop
Okay.
in like the whole Eurodance era and like Italy and stuff.
Yeah.
Like Eiffel 65 guys.
So 90s music in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
We're taking from like 80s in it.
90s.
So earlier 90s.
Yeah.
Okay.
So actually, a lot of like, or if you even look at like Initial D music,
Yeah.
Eurobeat.
Yeah.
Though that was all written by like Italian guys.
Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of that music was based on like really bouncy, high energy, kind of cheesy music.
Yeah.
And so that was like what started their kind of club era and their early pop music. And that inspiration never left. So I think that like the K bounce stuff was built off of that.
Okay.
And that's why they love it out here. It's also largely why they love hard dance as well, like hard style.
Okay.
Hard style is pretty much just like faster, a little bit harder, but still those big cheesy melodies.
Yeah.
And bounciness. Like it's the same Euphoria vibe. So it just goes back to what was popular like decades ago.
That's interesting.
Yeah, like all their pop music was fast, high energy, but our pop music back home was not like that.
So, do you want to make less cheesy music, essentially?
Yeah, well, there's tasteful cheesiness.
Yeah.
I definitely, some of my music is cheesy, but it has to be like a certain kind of cheese. Yeah.
So that it could be playable in both North America,
Yeah.
Europe, and Asia.
Mm-hmm.
And are there certain songs, like, where do you get the inspiration from, like, or who do you think is doing it well, where their music actually translates well in all three places right now?
Off the top of my head, I'm thinking there's a few guys. One, okay, this is kind of different, but Bose,
Okay.
they make like, when they were more on the techno side rather than melodic,
Yeah.
but their music works great in Asia because it's like bouncy, hot, hard, high energy, but it's still like of the right aesthetic that guys in Europe and North America will play it.
Yeah.
There's Darren Styles, who people love in Asia. He
Yeah.
does like hard dance, hard style stuff. Um, but his music is also so Euro, and then people in North America really like him as well. It's yeah, I guess it's just guys that can combine pieces of everything into one.
Do all the big guys work across the board?
No,
No.
I mean like even the biggest guys, I don't think work across. I mean, like if you
They
look at,
used to though. Cause
yeah,
like 5 years, maybe not, maybe like pre-COVID, you'd have like whoever Armin and stuff playing across the and all continents.
yeah. I mean, like here's the thing, like the biggest
When there's
guys,
more festivals, I guess, before.
yeah,
Yeah.
they play big festivals. Then like I mean, if you play a big festival anywhere in Asia, it's probably going to be fine.
Yeah.
But there's certain guys that obviously work way better than others. Like I think Armin for sure crushes it with his sets because he does a variety of stuff.
Yeah.
People here do love John Summit, but 100% like the crowds who don't understand house as much at all.
Well, I hear every John Summit song I've heard so far here is never even close to the original. It always drops into something
Yeah.
bouncy.
Yeah, you
They
can't
just like the lyric. They like the vocal breakdown.
you can't really play his original tracks in the clubs here,
Yeah.
but you could play original Armin tracks. But his track heavy, I hear it all the time here.
Interesting.
Yeah, so like even the biggest guys don't necessarily connect everywhere. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So I want to step away from music for a second.
Yeah.
You obviously have a spiritual side too, which I think you've been more open about on social media lately than you have in the past.
Yeah.
When did you start dipping into spirituality and why?
I think it was. Oh, this is probably around the time when I started working my first job at the Thai restaurant.
Okay.
I remember like around that same time was like I was getting very interested in Thailand, and I became also very interested in Buddhism. I
Yeah.
think you were kind of like studying it
Yes.
too.
What year is that? 16? Year is probably 16.
I was probably like 14, 15.
Yeah, because I had got a Buddhist book because I got Tibetan book of Living Dead because I liked Jet Li, and then I was looking at his website and he had like 4 book recommendations, and that was one of them. So I decided to get it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna see it. It was like, he had like a Tai Chi book, that, and like a couple other things. So I decided to start learning about it, and that's when I would have been 18, so you would have been 14, or I would have been 18 or 19, so you'd have been 14 or 15.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I remember around that period of time, I started watching a lot of videos about Buddhism.
Yeah.
Like I remember there's a BBC documentary on the Buddha I watched that I liked, and then I would start trying to meditate around that time as well.
But you started when you were 14 or 15.
Yeah, but I wasn't doing it right. I don't think. But
But I mean, you have to do it wrong to learn how to do it
I think
right.
I was actually kind of doing the opposite, where I was like, instead of trying to clear my mind, I was trying to focus on one single thing, but it was usually like a problem.
Okay, so you're trying to problem solve it.
Yeah, I was like problem solving.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I feel like that's how you have to start when you meditate, though, because it's almost like you go through all that stuff until everything goes blank, because you
Yeah.
just don't think you can't think about it anymore because you already thought about it so much.
I mean, well, the end result was I was actually at peace after. I felt
Yeah.
more about. So I mean, I guess in essence, it kind of worked. But
I think it was Naval. Naval said it because I think you learned from Osho. I think he said it, who just like says sit on your couch for just like 60 minutes a day for like 60 days. And you think by the end of that, then you'll be meditating, because the first like whatever month you'll just be thinking about all the garbage, and eventually
Yeah.
you'll like weed it all out and just let your mind actually be able to clear your mind.
yeah, I agree.
So maybe you had to do that.
Yeah, I guess so. It was like it was in steps for sure. Different
So
ways.
from there, you started studying a little bit of Buddhism.
Yeah.
And then that changed a bit over the years. Or
Yeah,
evolved, maybe is a better word.
I think for a while the interest in Buddhism stayed, and then I started working at Tivana, and my manager Alex was like she studied Buddhism quite heavily, and her dad has like a doctorate or something.
Actually.
That was like that was his major, and so she would educate me about Buddhism a lot,
Yeah.
and I would ask her about all sorts of religious stuff, and that made me even more interested in it, because I would often talk about my problems, and then coming from a Buddhist perspective to understand my problems helped me figure out how to think a little better.
Yeah.
So that expanded it, and then I started reading books on my own
Yeah.
from that. Yeah.
So spirituality has helped you with solving your own problems.
Yes, 100%.
Do you have like an example or like maybe like a process that you use in order to go through your problems in a spiritual way?
I think probably like I would have to think about this harder, but I think maybe one of the biggest things that's helped me do is just to like separate myself and try to observe my problems
Yeah.
and try to observe my own thoughts. Because I think we tend to get caught up in our own thought processes, and you really just have to sometimes step back and look at yourself and recognize that like there's a few different parts of you.
Yeah.
So I think that was probably the biggest thing where I just kind of like it's almost like I'm taking a back seat and observing just how my thoughts are running themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you're an overthinker like me, then you start thinking about you observing your thoughts.
Yeah. You start thinking about, yeah.
Yeah, you start analyzing the thoughts too much.
It's like Inception.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But that, I mean, that's a start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I think I started by, like, I guess when you mentioned before, when I started studying a bit of Buddhism, and then I kind of had like a break where I was pretty much just drunk. And then once COVID hit, or right before COVID hit, because it was 2020, where I was like, oh, I want to start learning about some stuff. And then you pointed me towards Alan Watts and Sadhguru. And then I think from Alan Watts and Sadhguru, I kind of found like Jay Krishnamurti and Osho and Anthony DeMello and a bunch of guys like that. When did that kind of, because I feel like or maybe slightly before I had my research into spirituality, you kind of had like a bit more of a breakthrough through spirituality from like Alan Watts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
So I think it originally started because I think like 2018-ish, give or take a year, I was kind of going through like a little bit of like a depressive episode a bit. And so I started every morning listening to like different Alan Watts videos.
Yeah.
Like every morning before I'd go make music. After I eat or while I eat, I just watch a different Alan Watts.
How did you find him in the first place?
I don't remember actually. I think I was just like on YouTube sometime. I don't remember, but like throughout the years, I would hear his voice. And, you know,
maybe in lo-fi songs or something.
I think actually lo-fi might have had a part of it because I accidentally got into lo-fi music when I first heard XXX Tentacion. I got into lo-fi music from that, and then I started hearing Alan Watts.
Yeah,
I think it was probably from that, and then I started diving into Alan Watts, and I started listening to his music, his speeches a bunch, and then there was like a period. This is actually kind of a weird tangent, but where I always had like a lot of contention with like Christianity and other religions and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I remember, I'd always have debates with mom about that stuff. And so there was one point where I wanted to read the Bible in order to properly debate her.
Yeah.
And like,
that's fair.
Yeah.
I had the same feelings.
Yeah. So I did it.
Yeah.
I read the Bible, but my journey throughout that changed what my purpose was for everything. Then I started wanting to understand all the religions.
Yeah.
So then I started reading as many religious books as I could, including all like the Buddhist books.
Yeah.
Or texts and like
Hinduism, and all this stuff.
Yeah. Then I just started deep diving in everything.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it started. Was like, at first it was like me trying to better myself a little bit from anxieties I had, but then also a mix of wanting to prove to mom that God doesn't exist or something. But that actually changed. Now, like that entire conversation has changed now.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of where it started.
So how does that kind of side of you influence your music?
Well, I think the biggest part that influenced my music was Taoism.
Yeah.
Because that was all about like, or Taoism and Zen Buddhism, because that was all about like flow and not forcing things.
So a lot of the Alan Watts stuff.
Yeah, all the Alan Watts stuff. But I think too that like in a later part of my career, the Bible and stuff like that influences me quite a bit in terms of like dealing with struggles in career and challenges.
Let's dip into that for a second. So if you're dealing with the challenge of the career, how would having a Christian perspective, or
Okay, so when I read the Bible, I don't necessarily look at it the same way as like
like a devout Catholic would do or
yeah,
something? Yeah.
no. So I see like especially the whole Jesus story is like more about a hero story.
Okay.
You know, it's pretty much the story was that he goes into the wild, faces a bunch of demons, and comes out a better person, and then can do all these.
I feel like Jordan Peterson kind of dived
Yeah,
into that a little bit. Well, to explain it to the people that
yeah,
aren't. Yeah.
yeah. He kind of does that, and so it's kind of like just like a story of transformation, basically,
Yeah.
and dealing with your own suffering. And I feel that like ever since I came out to Asia, it's always these waves of like, oh, I'm going into this like place that I really don't understand. I get torn apart,
Yeah.
and I end up coming out stronger. And then there's like a good period of this is awesome, and then it goes, oh no, we're going back into the deep end, and
Yeah.
and so I've been able to kind of comprehend these waves a little better and trust that things are working out for themselves by just kind of looking at those stories. Because
Yeah.
the whole Jesus story, the hero story, is like not just from Jesus. Like you look at any hero story,
Yeah.
whether it's Batman, Spider-Man, or any real person you might know.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. You go into some place you don't know.
Well, pretty much every movie has to have like the climactic part where everything might go wrong.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And since I moved to Asia 2.5 years ago, I I can consistently see the exact same thing where there's a big pain going to somewhere I don't know, and then I struggle for a while and then come out on top. Same. So that's helped me just see my whole career and journey as like it's given purpose to it all and
Yeah.
helped me manage my anxieties about it and just try to have like more faith.
So, would you say that more artists should kind of go dive into spirituality a bit? Like, do you think it would be helpful for most people?
I think so. Yeah.
I feel like artists in general have a lot of ups and downs, especially because they
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah. I think it would help, and also artists are just like pretty sensitive generally, so
Yeah.
to have some sort of like mechanism to help you deal with your feelings or your life.
So, are you somebody who feels emotions like deeply?
Yeah, I think I'm a pretty emotional person sometimes.
Sure.
Yeah.
I feel like Taoism kind of deals with like the ups and downs a lot too, because everything kind of goes in that flow where like you have to, there's always the dualistic nature, there's always the up and the down. Or I don't remember if it was actually the book that I read from Boba's dad or a different book, but where he's like, that actually talked about like operating based on the seasons, and like in the winter you should almost be slower, in the summer you're like more active and like sexually and everything. Like everything comes out of that, like how to like actually flow with the seasons to benefit yourself. So I guess Taoism kind of has that in it as well.
Yeah. I think Taoism was really good with understanding the whole flow of creativity in your life. I definitely try to apply that.
Yeah.
I know some of the Taoists get really, yeah, like you were saying, very particular with some of the things.
Yeah, there was like certain rules where it's like where the winter you should only be having sex like twice a week or something like that.
Yeah.
Or once a week, and then during the summer you're supposed to be like every single day or something.
Yeah.
And then it was like same thing with like work. You should be like taking like shorter work days or something. I don't remember
Yeah.
which season it was, but yeah. And then it had like this whole like flow of like how you should be operating between the seasons.
Yeah.
I was reading it and I was like, okay, this is adjusting. I was like, I think I do that like naturally based on the seasons.
Yeah, I think in Winnipeg there's definitely that.
Well, you have no
window of the
choice,
seasons.
basically.
Here I've noticed is different. Your life is different when there's not really any seasons.
So I feel like that's one of the spirituality side is like one of the pillars in your life, and then you kind of have the music, and now you dove in more into your physical side lately.
Yeah.
What's your workout routine?
So now it's Monday through Friday, Muay Thai for about an hour and a half, an hour to 2 hours.
Yeah.
Depends if I'm sparring or not. And then Monday, Wednesday, Friday is weights after Muay Thai.
Yeah.
So, yeah, pretty much that. And then Saturday, I either do more weights or I go for a run at the park.
Yeah.
And Sunday is ice bath and sauna, and I go for a long walk. Usually, I go to the ice bath and sauna and I walk home.
Yeah.
Yeah. And usually at Muay Thai Monday through Friday, I do like squats and pull ups and stuff like that.
Just like body weight exercises in between.
Yeah.
So why'd you dive more into your physical side, and how does that benefit your work, I guess, your career?
So I mean, it first started out of very very typical out of my breakup.
Yeah.
Pretty much just like what else do you do after a breakup? Go to the gym.
Revenge body.
Yeah, revenge body. Exactly. I think I realized I knew for a while that I need to like really lock in. But after my breakup, I just felt like I was in a place where every part of my life could really be dialed in more.
Okay.
And working on your physical working on your body is like the easiest thing that you can start on to just
Yeah.
provide a foundation for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let me get an actual routine and structure in and just dive in on my body and from there see what happens. And I think it improved every other part of my life because I started feeling better about myself, looking better, and that gave me more confidence and also just like, honestly, it improved my music as well because I had this structure now and I started feeling good and I wasn't like drinking all the time and I wasn't eating like shit. And from that, I created a better baseline level to make music from um, and better baseline level to work on. Even just when I'm DJing now, I feel better.
So that's actually a good place to transition back to the music side because a lot of people think that like the or creatives or artists or musicians have to like have a glass of whiskey in hand, be drunk or be smoking a joint or just be like heartbroken or whatever to be able to get inspiration for their music. And I think some artists actually do fall in that trap.
Yeah.
Where that's the only way they can make music. But you're saying pretty much the opposite, that like becoming healthier, more clear mind, more confident, coming out of a breakup and being happy by yourself helps your music.
Yeah, for the longest while, I remember I felt some guilt about this because I did not want to drink all the time, but I felt like if I'm in the industry, I have to drink. And I felt like if I'm not participating in this, isn't that, I felt like it was like, what would it be? I don't know if like a paradox, but I thought it was weird if I'm not partying, but I'm going to create a party for people. I thought there's like, imposter syndrome with that or something like, and so
Or is like kind of hypocritical?
yeah, hypocritical. That's what it is. Yeah, I felt like I was hypocritical if I did that.
Yeah.
But there's a few things I realized. One, actually, it was a twisted perspective that you have to party and that what I'm doing is actually about partying because there's a lot of people that go sober. And also for a lot of people, like raving is just like, it's like the once a month thing just to let loose.
Yeah.
So,
but you're there once a week or twice a week or whatever.
But I think what twisted my perspective was that I'm DJing in Asia and they don't necessarily have that same rave culture and people here party sometimes every day for the sake of partying.
Yeah.
But that's not what the core of what this music is
that
I love. That's not what it's actually about.
I think if you're making music for festivals too, then it's like less of a, like if you're making club music that's about partying and stuff like that, it's like almost like you feel like you have to be involved in this.
Yeah, that's
like if you're making music like Future, where he talks about like just doing Molly and drinking the entire time, it's like how can you make music like that if you're not literally partying all the time because you're not going to know what people actually like. But if you're making music that people listen to at like a festival or the club that they go once a month, then it's a little bit of a different feel.
100%, and also like a lot of people just use this music when they work out as well, which is kind of
motivating. That's fair. There's a lot of playlists.
But the thing I realized though was that like actually my job as a DJ is actually to like give people energy. And if you're partying all the time, you have no energy to give people. So now that I don't really
you're curating the energy in the room pretty much.
Yeah. Now that I don't really drink, I have more energy when I'm performing.
Yeah.
So that means I can do my job better. There's no guilt about it now.
I feel like the Winnipeg club scene for DJs might kind of have that impact too, because the DJs kind of double as promoters, and the promoters are so tied in with the people that are coming to drink all the time.
Yeah.
That you're almost like forced to drink with the people. You're kind of like out of place.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I guess here you come and the people are literally partying 5 times a week.
Yeah.
So you feel like you have to be in it, but if you're the DJ, you don't actually have to be in it. Yeah. Especially in a bigger club, I guess.
For sure.
If you're like a 100% club, it might feel a little bit different, but
for sure. But the thing I realized though is that I need to align myself with like what my future goals is, and ultimately like I want to be a large festival touring DJ.
Yeah.
And the guys that do that don't really party. Like look at Steve Aoki. He's completely sober for a long time, and very locked on his health. And then
he also probably performs. Well, I don't know if he still does, but he used to perform like 300 shows this year or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, tons. So Yeah. So if I want to be like that, or actually,
It's actually funny because I remember there was one year where the three most performing people was Steve Aoki, Mac Miller, MGK.
crazy.
And Steve Aoki, they were both over 300, all three over 300 shows. Steve Aoki was sober and he's still going. Mac Miller died pretty much from drugs and stuff. And MGK, I remember when we brought him, he drank a 40 of Jack Daniels before the show.
Oh God.
And I remember, and he told me he did that every night.
Oh.
And sure enough, he's not like touring or anything anymore. Obviously, that took a toll on him.
That's terrible.
So that Steve Aoki is still going. So you kind of see the contrast directly.
He's kept up with everything.
Yeah.
And you know, like I didn't really think it was possible to like do this, and until I remember the first time I met Bose when they played at Moulin, the club that I play at. They didn't drink, and they also didn't eat carbs. And I was like, you guys can do that as touring DJs? And I was like, and that kind of stuck with me. So after my breakup, I was like, you know, fuck, I'm like, I can do like them. I'm like, if they can do it, I can do it.
Yeah, fair.
So that's when I doubled down and focused on that. And then I realized through time, like, oh, I can actually like do my job way better if I just treat myself like an athlete, pretty much.
Yeah.
And so I haven't really looked back. I never want to go back to like that old lifestyle now.
It's funny because there's a lot of people who in different professions too, who kind of treat themselves like an athlete in order to perform the best. Yeah. And I think that maybe started when these athletes started like showing how that, because even as athletes, there's athletes who don't treat themselves the best. Like they go at the off season, they party the whole time and they come back and that's like a B-level player, but then you see somebody like LeBron or Cristiano Ronaldo who spend like $2-3 million a year on their body specifically so that they can have that, like that's why they're still able to perform at like 40 years old or whatever age they are.
Yeah.
So you can see it even as athletes that you get that longevity from treating yourself properly.
Yeah, 100%.
And I guess like even Armin was like, I mean, he's been performing forever and he treats himself pretty well. I mean, he just came out with all those shirtless pictures.
Yeah.
So you got to see it there if you want like longevity, even if you're in the party scene, you have to.
For sure. I felt that like everything that I've experienced has been, the purpose of it has been in order to shape me to become the kind of person that will actually be able to achieve these dreams that I have. And part of doing that is becoming the person that is locked in on their health, has good routine. Because let's say that old me were to become really successful, I would probably not be able to maintain that level of success or probably ultimately like dip. There's a lot of guys where they get to the top and they dip because they just
they get that thing and then they makes them crash harder.
Yeah, 100%. So I need to become the kind of person that can sustain that level of success.
I actually, it's funny because I had like a similar thing where I realized that like if I would have had because I had multiple opportunities in the past where I could have made millions or whatever, but if that would have happened in like 2020, if I closed one of those big mass deals or whatever, then I would have just probably drowned myself in alcohol or whatever. Shortly after, I'd probably just become a worse person. So I was like, okay, I had to go through like the dip in order to like become the person you have to be in order so that when you do go up, then you are actually able to sustain it.
Yeah, 100%.
Are there any other like key pillars in your life aside from those three that you think like contribute towards like building the life you have now?
I mean, this kind of goes into the physical part, but Muay Thai definitely helps.
Yeah.
I think like having an outlet, a physical outlet like that, and something very structured and that's technically destructive. In contrast to being creative, that really helps balance me.
Why does the destructive part matter?
I think you just like,
it's like
it's kind of like
the chaos to balance the order.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, like shadow work a little bit, because for a moment you have to like become not I don't know, like creativity is very loving and like flowing, I guess, and then for Muay Thai is the opposite.
Yeah.
So I think it's good to balance yourself. It just makes you feel more grounded as well.
Yeah.
And also, every time I spar, it feels like I'm tackling my own fears, because like I still get like every time I spar, I still feel
you have that little feeling
that
like
like,
especially if you have a slippery floor or something.
Yeah, especially if the floor is slippery and you're gonna pull your groin.
I remember there was that period, I think we were both going to Muay Thai at the same time, where there's that one guy that would always kick everybody in the balls. And I get nervous going to every single class because I was like, man, I know I'm going to go in there, and if that guy's there, I'm
You get
probably
kicked
going to
in the
get kicked to the
balls.
balls. No matter
Yeah.
like it's not the noble problem you face from spear from sparring, but I was always like, man, I don't want to get kicked to the balls today.
Yeah. Yeah.
But okay, so that actually like forces you to face your fears.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a lot of those things that I guess are stress testing, like doing ice baths in general, like
Yeah.
it makes you comfortable with stress, for example.
Oh yeah, that too. The ice bath and saunas, like it's all becoming comfortable with discomfort. Because I definitely am someone, if I don't consistently do these things, I might be prone to just taking a seat, like a back seat.
Yeah.
I think I'm more prone to maybe a little bit of like anxiety or just wanting not to do anything.
Yeah.
So I have to be consistently doing things that way I just have like this momentum.
Yeah.
And
So that kind of comes from a structured routine then too.
yeah, 100%. So I hate like that's why I'm like almost don't want to go back to Winnipeg. Is that I just
Like to visit or to live.
probably both, but like I do want to go visit, but I hate the fact that it's gonna be like 3 weeks of disrupting my routine,
Yeah.
and then I have to like get back into it. And then while I'm there, I'm gonna be in decline on all of my everything. Just
Have you thought about the fact that if you start becoming a touring festival DJ, that your routine is going to get disrupted? Like,
that's actually what I was thinking about over the last week because we were going to KL and we went to Phuket.
yeah,
I was thinking, well, I was like, wow, I was like, how do these guys do it? So I'm like, okay, so when we went to the gym in Phuket, I was thinking, okay, if I were to tour, this is what I have to be doing. I have to be going to the gym every day.
We went-
whenever I
yeah.
have free time. Yeah.
you almost need a really good manager to make your schedule because you don't want to be hopping time zones too aggressively.
Yeah.
And then, or if you are, then you probably need a day break between your shows,
Yes.
and then so you can actually like hit the gym and stuff like that.
The thing too is
You kind of need to go to different Muay Thai gyms every place you go to.
Yeah. The thing I realized is that you can't be tempted to eat all the local food. You have to stick to your diet probably.
yeah,
Yeah, which
I to slow down.
if I was touring, I would just make it a requirement for all my
Riders,
yeah.
so you make sure you got at least the meal
Yeah.
before, at least, especially.
I also think I need to make it a requirement that my touring manager can hold pads.
It's not a bad move.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I need to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you could. Yeah, I guess the structure, the sleep would be hard to fit in there too.
yeah,
But yeah, I feel like that can all be planned out.
for sure. I mean, but
You could also work in spurts too. Like if you did it for a month, then you go back to your thing for like 6 months or something.
yeah,
I guess if you want to hammer it out, but
it might just be like it would maybe be a
festival
month.
season, maybe, and then
Yeah,
something like that. I don't know.
a brief period where you're not like as locked in, but you're still.
There's a lot of guys who are more like way more. A few guys who are way more like selective with their shows now. Like you can't go see a Friday Again show very often, for example. You can't go see a Zoo show very often. You have
Yeah.
John Summit turning down like $2 million gigs.
Yeah,
Rufus will just do like one massive thing like once a week or something.
yeah. I think at that level they have to be like
Very selective.
but then it's special.
But then you could like, if you get to that level, then your routine becomes structured.
Yeah. I know in general though it is a good thing to probably be selective about your shows because there's some places where you shouldn't be playing.
Yeah.
I've definitely felt that before. But, you know,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's fair.
yeah, but that's
So let's dive into relationships a bit, or
Yeah.
family, friendships, relationships. I feel like that's probably the last kind of pillar that makes your life, in a sense, complete.
yeah,
You moved to Bali, a new place, what, 4 years ago, or 3.5 years ago, or something like that. Was it hard to make friends when you went there, or like how did that affect your like? So you had a lot of good friends in Winnipeg,
yeah.
which you had to say bye to and everything, and obviously your direct family and everything was there. So
Well, Bali was actually the easiest jump, funny enough, because when I got there, like the demographic of people is so mixed.
yeah,
So I met people from all over the world, and then immediately I had a bunch of Aussie and UK friends.
the other DJs of the club.
Yeah, like Moji, Tane, Brett Allen, Ollie Crow, his brother. Like that was just like having friends from back home because like
Yeah.
you know the language is the same.
Yeah.
You know, it was easy.
So you'd hang out with them, you'd make music with them, you'd
Yeah.
go to work with them.
Yeah, so that was great, and I saw them almost every day.
Yeah.
And
And then you moved to Thailand 2.5 years ago or whatever.
yeah,
And how was that?
that was hard. That was the hardest part So I mean, I had Panda here, but Panda wasn't always here.
Yeah.
Couldn't always see him. And also like, okay, Bali is a very tight knit place. Like, so everything was just very close. Bangkok, we're a bit more spread out, so it's not like I'm
Yeah.
seeing them every day. So that there was that, and then all of a sudden, I can't actually speak the same language as most people. I had some Thai friends that can speak a bit, some better than others, but it was way more difficult. And then
So
also,
they can't speak English at all, or like just the conversations become like service level, trying to translate, trying to connect on any level.
yeah, pretty well. There, it went from a range of like we can pretty much just say hello to maybe we can have some more in depth conversations, but you have to speak very slowly and you maybe
Yeah.
use translators.
Yeah.
I have like one, maybe two friends that can, you can really talk, but
Yeah.
it's still, it was a lot more difficult. So Bangkok really shook me up. And I think you remember like that first probably 9 months, I was just like, what the hell am I doing
Yeah. You
here?
remember you
So,
being pretty like lonely.
yeah, I was lonely.
Or you remember you saying you couldn't connect with anybody on a deeper level than just surface level.
No,
Yeah.
not really. And I just didn't really know how to meet people. I had like a girlfriend kind of for a bit, and it was a whole new thing. The
Was she
relationship.
Thai? Was she Thai?
She was Thai, yeah.
So how did you connect with her? I guess she only said she was kind of a girlfriend. Was the reason that she was only kind of a girlfriend because you couldn't connect deeper with her?
Well, I just like we were seeing each other, but we never fully went in because I didn't because I wasn't sure if I was actually gonna stay here.
Okay.
And I mean, I wasn't gonna stay here until like last minute. I got asked to become a resident at Win.
So were you not going to stay here because you didn't want to, or because you were having like those visa issues?
So I was like, yeah, well, the visa thing was the big part. So I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm gonna end up getting kicked out of Thailand
Yeah.
at some point. And then I was like, I'm not really playing shows here. I'm like, I'm lonely. I'm like,
Yeah.
I miss having my circle back in Bali.
Yeah.
Like, what is the point?
So you're thinking you're going back to Bali, or you could go back to Winnipeg?
I was gonna go back to. I was like leaning towards going back to Bali, but I was
Yeah.
gonna go back to Canada for the summer to figure out what the plan was.
Okay.
Yeah. So like,
But then the visa thing ended up working out.
yeah, I got very lucky in the end.
That's because you ended up switching to working with the Leaning Group.
Yeah. So Kaku,
Yeah.
he introduced me to music director James and then Blake at Muin, and then I would just hang out with them because I thought maybe they'll book me at Muin. I was like, I don't care. I'd like just go hang out with them though.
Yeah.
And then I told them I was going to be leaving next week,
Yeah.
and then they were like, why? I
Yeah.
explained to them, and then they were like, well, what if we gave you a residency and a visa? And I honestly didn't think they were actually going to do it, and because I had someone do that before,
Yeah.
and they didn't pull through. But then they actually pulled through, so I was like, oh wow, amazing. So then I stayed here, and now I have more of a circle,
Yeah.
but it's definitely still a little bit different.
Different now.
There's really only like one person, maybe two, that I feel I can fully relate with because they're like James is pretty westernized.
Yeah. So you can communicate with them, but the culture is pretty much
The
different.
culture is
Where
very
they
different.
grow up, I guess. Yeah.
Especially like if you date here, relationships is very different than anything back home.
Yeah.
Friendships,
What makes a difference?
expectations for sure. Like I think like back home, you try to like take your time, play it cool, whatever, go
Yeah.
on dates for a while.
Feel it out for the first 3 months or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and people are more. I think it's more like a cat and mouse game,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but here it's more full in very fast.
They just dive in.
Yeah, and I think there's more expectations of really, really being like attentive. To
Yeah.
like high expectations, so that makes it a little bit different,
Yeah.
which I was not used to.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's very different culture with that. But also, if you can't speak the same language fully, it's pretty hard.
So do you try to speak Thai, or do they try to speak English, or how do you do that?
English, but I mean, I
Google
was learning a
Translate.
bit of Thai, but like not to the level where it's like I can communicate my feelings to you.
Yeah, you're just kind of like saying you want this or asking for this.
Yeah. That's like a whole different game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess you can't connect on a complete emotional level.
Yeah, maybe not. I mean, the thing is, I obviously have to broaden my horizons. I
What
think.
about finding a westernized girlfriend, like a James Better girl?
The James actually, one of my Thai friends told me to do that. He said, like, if you find someone who's been to an international school like James,
Yeah,
then it's a lot easier to communicate and probably relate. And
there must be something like that around here.
there is.
Yeah,
I just haven't ventured into that.
yeah,
I think I'm like pretty in a bubble in Bangkok, funny enough, but
fair enough.
need to venture out.
So, what's it like living away from family for so long?
Definitely. How is it? I mean, I wish that we all lived in the same city,
Yeah,
and it would make I wish that like it was a closer flight.
yeah, that's
I think I've gotten like used to it now because I'm so much in a routine,
yeah,
but I do miss having like the immediate support. Like, oh, like if I don't know if I'm bored or if I just want someone to hang out with, talk to, then just, you know, go hang out somewhere, go to Earl's or something. I don't know.
yeah, fair enough.
Like I kind of miss that, having that support and stuff. But I think I've like kind of gotten used to it now. And having the structure and routine has really helped mitigate the tension of that, the difficulties of it.
Yeah.
When I was more partying and stuff still, that was really hard. I
I
think.
guess the ups and the downs become higher when you have
Yeah,
partying.
way more. Like
Yeah.
when you're hungover and then maybe you don't have any friends or anyone,
You're just laying in bed, just
and
dying.
you're like, what am I doing here? It's like, but yeah, then it sucks. When your days are structured and you have the routine to go every day, then it's more just like just going. You don't have
Yeah.
to think too much.
Sounds like you have like an understanding of what you need to have like a happy life in Bangkok.
Yeah.
What would that like dream life look like if like every level, if every one of those pillars was like a level 10? What would that look like?
I think it would be, I mean, I think ideally I won't actually be in Bangkok all the time.
Okay.
I'll be traveling more for shows, being able to like go to Canada to stop in Canada sometimes to see everyone. But it would mean that I'm working out almost every day the way that I am. It would mean that I'm working on music almost every day the way I am.
Yeah.
Um, and eating right. Like, actually, to be honest, I think I'm doing everything
Basically. Yeah.
pretty much that,
Yeah.
except that maybe it would be nice if I had a little bit more friends or I don't know, or a relationship that was like stable and reliable. Like those, maybe that would be the only thing.
I
Yeah,
think often you might think that like a certain pillar, like you're level 10, and then you see somebody else doing like level 15, and you're like, oh, I actually have a little bit more room to crank it up a little bit.
yeah. See, 100%.
Which probably is what happened to you in order to get to the level you are now, because
Yeah.
you might have thought you were already maxing out on one of them, and then you're like, you know what, I could actually do more Thai and weights in the same day. I actually don't
Yeah,
need to.
100%.
That's a different
Before I started locking in more, I definitely thought I was like, oh yeah, like I'm already working out so much.
Yeah, I'm already maxed
Oh,
out.
and I'm already making music and working on my brand so much. But it's like, no. Actually, there's a lot more that I can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. Maybe there is more I can do from here too. But I definitely am doing better than I was 6 months ago for that.
So I guess that's like actually a good thing is to look at is that you're comparing yourself to who you were before instead of somebody else that might be doing it higher
Yeah, for sure.
in order to keep it better.
For sure. I mean, I definitely still compare myself sometimes to others, but I'm just trying to focus on the gains. Uh, I think it's important just to look at that because, yeah, everyone's path's obviously very different,
Yeah.
and I try to showcase that a lot in my like content and stuff. That's why I always do like, oh, like 3 years ago I was doing this, but now I'm doing this.
Yeah.
It's like to just compare. It's to show that I'm just comparing myself and showing people that like you can have progression and gains.
And the progression is not always a straight line up.
Yeah, no, not always. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So you have to really just focus on yourself in that regard.
I'm sure you get people that message you all the time asking for like advice or want to send you songs or something like that. What's like how would you wrap up advice for like a upcoming artist or producer or whatever, however you want to describe it, in like a short blurb?
Well, if I was speaking to myself from years ago, I would probably just tell them to really solidify what their end goal is and then completely align their daily life with what that person would be doing. Like for me,
So work backwards essentially.
yeah, work backwards. I remember I thought I was doing that for a while. Like I thought that I was aligned with what that finishing goal was, but I remember James actually told me this like back in November. He's like, look at your end goal and then work your way backwards. And
Yeah.
I'd heard that all the time, but I thought I was doing it. And then I thought about what he said, and I was like, oh, I'm not really doing that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, what is my actual end goal? I want to be a festival touring DJ playing like techno and trance stuff. I'm like, okay, well, what would that person, what kind of music would that person be making? What would their daily life be? And then looking at some of my other peers, I was able to figure out what they're doing. So, like looking at Bose, I messaged them and asked them what their diet was. What's your workout routine?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna start doing that. I looked at like, I was actually looking at like Steve Aoki as well. Like what does he do to stay on top of things? So he meditates,
Yeah.
eats really well. What else?
It's funny because I think some people get their end goal wrong. They'll be like, "Oh, I want to go live on a yacht and retire and just party, and that's going to be my life." But they don't actually realize that the people that get to that level don't actually. Maybe they stay there for like a few months and they're out. Like, well, I'll use Jeff Bezos as an example. He has all the money in the world, and he has all the yachts in the world and houses in the world. And he went there and he kind of like hung out for a little bit, and then but now his like focus is like Blue Origin building rockets because he needed a project too. That maybe the end goal the whole time.
Yeah.
Actually, he talked about it in the beginning in like the late '90s. He wanted to like build rockets.
Oh, really?
So like it was like, oh, it's like you can get everything, but then you have your end goal wrong because you don't realize there's something you wanted to be working on the whole time.
Yeah.
So but if you actually, I think part of the problem with people is they don't actually realize what their end goal is, that it maybe like some sort of level of self-awareness, or they haven't actually fully thought about it because it seems so distantly far away
For sure.
or impossible. But they actually figure out what that end goal is, such as use like, okay, I want to be able to play a certain amount of shows, but I don't want to be whatever playing this, and I still want to be able to see family, I still want to be able to work out regularly. Then you can actually reverse engineer it.
Well, I think I messaged you about this like a month or two ago that I realized too that like the end goal is also it's like then this actually kind of ties back into the spirituality stuff. That, like the end goal is pretty much just a target that you use in order to morph yourself into the kind of person that would get that goal, because the real reward is the person that you're going to become.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I remember I was thinking about this, that like a lot of the things that I have right now are things I wanted years ago. Like I was looking through my notes in my phone, and like 2018, 19, I was writing about how I would love to be in Asia. I would love to do shows here.
Yeah.
I would love to have collabs with some of the guys I'm working with.
Yeah.
Like Ben Nicky, I've been sending him tracks since like 2015. Garbage tracks, but
you posted the video about Henry Fong too.
Henry Fong as well. And so once you actually get these things, it's kind of like, oh, that's awesome. But then you're like, okay, now what?
Well, it was the same thing with like when the first time Armin played your song on A State of Trance, and he like straight up said your name on A State of Trance, feature favorite and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and I was like,
this is cool for the next hour. Yeah, but well, it's still cool, but it's it's like the real reward is like how you feel. And that was something that I realized during this workout transformation, that the real reward isn't whatever these goals are. It's like the person that I became in the process of it, because now you feel better on a daily basis. You have like structure.
When you get to live that person each day.
Yeah.
You're not necessarily experiencing that like specific high each day. You're actually just the person that gets to experience those highs.
Yeah, 100%.
Or is able to achieve those highs.
And this was something I realized too when I was flying to KL to meet you.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this, that like I should enjoy this part of the trip quite a bit, because when I was like first starting to make music, I remember my dream was like, oh, it'd be so cool if I got to travel and do shows and have my friends and family with me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm actually finally doing that.
Yeah.
But so I think you have to like appreciate the goals that you're experiencing, but the real win is like who you became to get there. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Are you a happy person?
I think so. I don't know. I don't like think about that. I guess I just like
That's what the question is for, so you can think about
yeah.
it.
I think I like I don't know what that means. I guess I'm not happy.
You don't know what it means.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something to dive into. What do you think it would mean? Like, what would a happy person look like?
Um.
Like, if you walked by somebody, you're like, that's a happy guy.
I guess they're smiling and stuff, and like they feel their energy feels very cheerful.
Would you say you're like that?
Sometimes
I'd say you're usually like that.
I think so. I feel like lately I've been more like that for
Yeah.
sure. Um. I think that I don't know. I think every day I just kind of like focus on what I'm doing, and I don't necessarily think about like, am I happy? But I don't know. I try to be. I guess I want to be. It's just like, I think it's like a byproduct.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like a target then. So that's why it doesn't really cross my mind. But through doing my routine and stuff, I end up feeling happy for sure.
Okay.
Like I feel happy waking up on time and getting my coffee, maybe seeing friends. Like that makes me happy for sure.
On that note, we should probably go get our coffee. It's a good place to end.
Time to get some cum
Yeah. So,
coffee.
um, um, thank you for being on my podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I was gonna say thank you for being my brother, but that doesn't really make any sense. So, yeah, thank you. That's my episode with Fahjah, my brother Cass. I'm gonna attach all his social media platforms, music streaming platforms, YouTube, all that stuff in the description below. And thanks for listening, and be love.
Sweet.